Yo, 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 how's everyone doing today? Welcome to Tours the Storm. My name's Thomas Gaffney. I'm your host, and this is where we talk about business, Bitcoin, and bullshit. Today, I have with me a wonderful guest. I'm absolutely thrilled to have him here. His name is Jacob McAtamney. I just said it right earlier, but whatever. He is the
nailed it.
Nailed it. He's the community lead at Radix Works, a super cool DLT network on not blockchain, it's a distributed ledger technology, and it's a new and upcoming project. They have some really cool things going on, and glad to have you. How you doing, Jacob?
I'm good. Happy to be here. And I think for the 5 attempts at pronouncing the name before we started recording, you nailed, and then got stage fright when it actually came to it.
I did, because it's
good.
Like, I was actively thinking, and a lot of times when I start talking on this, I don't think, it just splurts out of my mouth. And, like, wait a minute, how do you do that again?
Yeah, it's all right. I feel less bad about calling you Piers Ridyard from Wish now, though. So that's
I was like, don't worry, settle down, Jacob. It's not your boss interview. So we got.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
That's funny. A lot of people in the community ask, they're like, "Oh, you look like Piers." But yeah,
we should dress you up. I think I'll get you a bomber jacket. I'll get you a replica thing, and we'll walk you into like all the next event or on stage and see if we can slip you in somewhere.
That'd be great. I'd be like, everyone, how's it going? How tall? This could be the only problem.
Yeah, true. Well, he's not the tallest, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We'll do that. He's slightly more handsome though, so it
yeah.
But yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you get involved in Radix? Crypto? What's your deal, man?
Yeah. So, I got into crypto in 2017. So that was like we had a sort of the back end of the bull run there. So Bitcoin went from like $4,000 to 18, 19 grand, and then sort of back down again. And it was really, really exciting. Like, I got caught up in the bullishness, and I got caught up in the hype, and I got addicted to like the feeling of watching portfolios explode, and like seeing like these ICOs, and like it was like the thing at the time was like everything was an ICO. Like everything had initial coin offering. Bananas were going to get tracked on blockchain. All pharmaceutical companies were going to be adopting blockchain. Every single company in the world, Samsung was doing partnerships with everybody. It was like peak scam partnership season. You know, if you had a conversation with someone, you then was an official partner.
Yep.
Got obsessed by it. Did reasonably well with Bitcoin, and then, you know, made the sensible idea to diversify into other altcoins, which all understandably went to zero. So good learning experience there. So came out of the bull market, the bear market. After that, with pretty much nothing.
You and everyone else.
But yeah, like held it bag holder all the way.
Bag after bag.
Yeah, there's still I've still got the portfolio on my Blockfolio FTF act. I sometimes flick over to see how Walton Chain's doing, and Electronium and Dent are doing.
Substratum, all the ones.
Yeah. I got a soft space in my heart. I'm still holding on. So bear market, 2052 or something. I'm gonna cash in. But kind of got addicted to it from there. At the time, I was working in the automotive industry, and I wanted to get out. I wasn't enjoying it. Wanted to work on something else that I'm passionate about.
Cool.
But didn't really do anything about it till 2020.
Okay.
So prior to that, I've been doing social media marketing, working marketing in general, and really just trying to work a way to meld those two things together. Started doing some part-time community management for Binance as part of their Binance Angel program. It's like a little ambassador program.
Oh, cool.
That they have. So sort of the people moderating the Telegram groups. To get experience, to get into the industry, because I think it's one of the harder things. Like, a lot of people, if you're not a developer, if you're not a coder, if you can't build things, then it can be hard sometimes to sort of get your foot in the door. So if anyone's sort of wanting to get into crypto, there's a lot of volunteer programs out there. That's a great way to get some sort of experience on your CV. Binance we've started our own one, the Radix Ambassador program. So it's a great way to sort of I could get some experience there. So that plus my marketing background helped me get a job with Radix. So I've been with the company for since January 2020.
Okay.
They had a job go out for a social media manager, which I applied for and was lucky to come on the team as.
Cool.
At the time, I think about 15 people with the company, and sort of been lucky to grow with it from there to where we are now with sort of 70 something people. And yeah, it's just been a bit of a wild ride since.
Yeah, man, that sounds crazy. I mean, from 15 to 70 in what, a little over 2 years. That's pretty explosive growth.
Yeah, it's a real thing now. Like at the time when you first start, it's a startup, right? You got everyone's doing 3 or 4 jobs. Everyone is a sort of is a generalist.
Sure.
And you've got all those ideas for things you want to do but can't particularly do them. So it's been most exciting to get to the point where you have the resource to do all these crazy ideas you've had forever and start putting them together.
Yeah.
And start to see the progress start to come through and start to see everyone start to have a real specialization, real focus on certain areas of the business. And just the energy and the vibe that comes with that sort of explosive growth is really, really cool to be a part of as well. So I feel very lucky.
Absolutely. Did you all start in like a WeWork? Did you have an office? Like, how'd that go down? It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So Radix is kind of a little bit unique, I think, for a lot of businesses. So it's 100% remote and always has been. So sort of the genesis of Radix as a project has been around for a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
At the moment, we've got staff in 17, 18 countries.
Okay.
And so when I started, I've been fully remote. People in European countries, people in the US, people in Asia.
Oh, wow.
So working across all time zones. We have sort of options for WeWork offices around the world if you want them. But yeah, no, it's fully remote, which sort of does have its own challenges as well. But because the company's built from that and it's never had an office, we've never really had the teething problem. So all the operations and all the functionality has grown around being sort of completely distributed.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the cool things, and I feel like attractive things about crypto in general is that it's global, right? Like, it's funny. So I'm an attorney, right? And I do startup financing and corporate structuring organization. And so I get a lot of questions from people in the community just because I'm pretty active, and they'll be like, "Oh, Thomas, how do I do this idea?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. Where do you live?" Because like there's so many different laws, like they're doing. It's just like in the States, I don't think you can do that without a license, or I don't think you can do it at all, but depending on where you are, you know what I mean? That's the coolest thing. And it's really cool to see Radix all over the place. When I got into crypto, I mean, I got in like 2012 with one of my buddies just with Bitcoin, and I didn't buy anything. Like you said, I'm not a tech person. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to do any of that. But like I was living in China at the time, and I was trying to figure out how to get some Chinese RMB out of because I was tutoring this young Chinese boy, and they were paying me in Chinese RMB, and I was trying to get it out of my my WeChat, and I couldn't do it because you have to be a national Chinese citizen to have a bank account. And so I was, and everything there runs on cash, right? So I was like, how does this even work? And that's how I got into crypto. And so it's just this worldwide thing, and it's really interesting.
I mean, that's one of the things that got me really excited about it as well. So I've been lucky enough to do sort of a fair amount of traveling. Sort of recent trip I did was a car trip from sort of London to Mongolia and into Russia. Wow. So in the process of that, we sort of drove through like all the European countries, then went through like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, all the stuff, like absolutely everything. But like the thing that struck me, sort of every country you go to has its own money, and you sometimes you're only spending a few days in each one. So you come out with it with like piles of different currency, not knowing what's what. And all these, they're in such a small, concentrated area. They don't have access to like a traditional banking system. You can't get US dollars in or out of the countries. You're forced to use kind of local market stalls to change the money. And just as traveling through, I'm like, how does crypto not make sense? Like, obviously, a long way to go to even like the infrastructure is a problem. You got to get there to like computers and phones and steady internet connections, things like that. But like, this is a big problem. Like, these people like cut off from a lot of the world sometimes because of this. And this is a problem that Bitcoin can solve, or something can solve. So it's going to be quite cool to see that start to develop as well over the next 10 years.
Oh yeah, and it just takes time, right? So I mean, I always use the analogy of email, right? Email was invented over 50 years ago, but it didn't reach mass peak adoption truly until the evolution of the smartphone, right?
Yep.
And the smartphone allowed to put your email in your hand, right? And then all of a sudden, that wasn't until really 2005 when BlackBerry came around, and then everyone had it. And it's a communication technology. I mean, the Web 2 revolutionized information, right? And then Web 3 is revolutionizing finance. And so it's an old adage in the people who are actually in the game, but it's just like we are actually just still very early. It's only been 10, 12 years since this thing was really a thing, right? And so
no, it can feel like you're late sometimes, like how fast everything moves.
True.
Like DeFi hasn't particularly been a thing. It's been a thing a couple of years, right? Like an actual thing.
Yes.
Just look at the way that we use them, or you have to use them, or the functionality that's out. Look at some of the dApps. Look how hard. Show it to your mum.
Yeah.
Can she use it? No. Like, it's scary to use. It is horrifying to use. These things just disappear. You get hacks and scams and issues everywhere. Like, it is still the absolute wild west in crypto out there. Like, anyone that is even marginally looking at it now, if you just stay the course, you're going to be a part of something very, very cool. Like, as this, the first iterations of anything are broken, right? Like the same way they had the ICO boom went away. We got some actual good projects out of it.
Yeah.
The second one's happening now with NFTs. You get a huge explosion in NFT projects. They will go away. A lot will go to zero, unfortunately. Sorry, people, but they will come back as something very, very cool with actual utility. Same with DeFi, food coins, huge explosion. It's going to go away. It's gone away now. DeFi is struggling, but it's going to come back and it's going to do something very, very cool. So while it can be a hard industry to follow and stressful to be involved in, like the rewards will be there for the people that are early to the technology and can sort of grow with it. So it's very cool to see.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this has happened before with computers and the internet in general. It's tracking very similarly, right? In terms of the progression, right? I mean, it just takes time, and then people don't want to hear that, and they don't like hearing it. Like I said, I've been in the blockchain game for a long time. I became absolutely obsessed. And when I came out and I wrote several papers, and I was one of those people who was like, oh, blockchain's gonna be everywhere. They're gonna be doing all the things to track everything. You got to put. So I wrote this paper on like mortgage-backed securities, and I don't know if you know anything about what happened in 2008 and the financial collapse with Lehman Brothers.
I've seen The Big Short. That's about it.
So so I wrote a paper about how blockchain essentially solves the Big Short and how that would never be a problem if it was, and it's still, I mean, they're actually starting to do this, right? So, but it just takes time. I wrote that paper 6.5 years ago. I don't have the wherewithal or know-how how to do that, but people are starting to put mortgages on blockchains and tracking all that information so that you can actually, it's funny because right now it seems like it's riskier, but it actually makes it safer in the long run. But like you said, the technology is broken, and it just takes a while to fix it.
It's going to be very cool to see it come through.
I agree. So one thing I did want to ask is like, and I don't know how to phrase this exactly, and comment on what you can, is like how exactly, like you have all these projects and people are developing these things, and people sometimes forget that. And so how exactly is Radix Works like kind of associated? What is the plan for building out the network, and how does it actually function for the Radix DLT network, like your relationship with the two?
That's a really deep question. So I guess so you got the Radix public network, which is a sort of core decentralized network that is completely permissionless. It is open to everyone. It is run by a network of validators. We have no control that it is completely decentralized.
Okay.
So there's two probably entities, I guess, people will talk about, or you might see us use interchangeably. So when we refer to Radix, we're referring to Radix public network.
Okay.
I am employed by RDX Works. So RDX Works we describe it as a core developer of the Radix network. So it'd be similar to Input Output Hong Kong, IOHK, which is the core developer of Cardano. Or Ava Labs, who are the core developers of Avalanche.
Okay.
And you'll see a similar one for each thing. So you need someone to build the initial network. You need someone to build the initial structure. You need someone to have the roadmap, follow it through, and then get to the point where you then essentially hand it over or withdraw out. So I think one of the great philosophical goals of RDX Works is to get to the point where we are not required, and the company can essentially cease to exist.
Okay.
So, were all teams to be in a bus and drive off a cliff, it's not going to harm the network at all.
Sure.
It's going to continue to run. The validators will continue to process transactions. The community will continue to market it. Everything will continue to function 100%.
Okay.
So that's the goal there. So obviously it's a multi-year roadmap, have a long sort of way to get there, but that is the difference. So we are the people. RDX Works is who employs me. We are building the network. Radix, the network, doesn't employ anybody. It's there to just be a layer one to hold the future of finance.
So yeah, I mean that's what one thing Piers always says. He's like, I hope one day that people are using Radix all over the world and they don't even know it, right?
Of course, absolutely. That is the goal. Yeah, that is the goal. Like I would love one day for people to be able, you're going to be using a very slick app on your phone. You're going to open it up. You will never see the word Radix. You never see the word RDX Works. You're only going to see a slick banking app on your phone. You will go in, you will allocate funds. You will farm yield. You will send NFTs. You will receive them. You will do this all completely decentralized fashion with no intermediary, with no big banks, with no and you will have control of your funds. You will do all that, but no one will know what Radix is. I think that's the coolest bit. Like that is the end goal for it, right? Like for us to function, like be like the Swift network or something. Like ask someone how do banks work? No one knows. The money just goes, the money appears. Sweet. That's it.
Yep.
that is the goal for
exactly.
It. Right? Still a few years away, but that is the eventual goal.
Yeah, that's cool. It's kind
of weird to have a company that's core goal is to build itself out of existence.
Yeah,
like it's a new sort of paradigm for companies.
Yeah,
it's quite cool to be involved in.
That's decentralization, right? And so it's very fascinating, and I think it's really cool. It's kind of like how you remember AOL? I don't know. I mean, you're not in the States, so America Online. People use that in other places.
Not for many years.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just that AOL was like the only way to get access to like an internet browser or an email for a long time, right?
I didn't actually know that what it stood for. That's quite interesting.
Oh, really? Yeah. So you see it
online.
Yeah. And so that's what AOL was. And then eventually, I mean, you come up with Google, right? And you have this browser that's just open source, essentially, and free. Like, because you used to pay to use AOL's platform. Like it was like $50 a month. My mom was paying for it up until like 2017. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like go to AOL.com. You don't need the browser like data like application. And so it was just funny. And so but it eventually kind of disappeared. And now the internet's just the internet. And people associate the internet sometimes with Google, right? Oh, hop on Google and do whatever that is. And so but like still people just call it the internet now, right? And so hopefully and that's just the flow of information, and hopefully one day it's people like, oh, it's just the finance app, right? That people are using to access that network and access the decentralized applications and stuff. So it's cool. It's cool. So one thing you touched on was that Radix Works is responsible to help market the network, correct? So one thing you guys have going on right now that's really cool is this Dandelion initiative. Can you tell us a little bit about that, a little bit more for the people who don't know? Headlines, how it
dandelions, like the flower of the dandelion, it's this beautiful little yellow flower. Once it's done being beautiful, it puffs itself up into lots of little white seeds. Wind comes along, picks up 100 seeds, flow anywhere and absolutely anywhere, land, create a new flower. So like the concept is like we're looking to fund like a micro grants program for people that want to contribute to marketing the Radix network. We're looking for sort of virality, essentially. We are looking for interesting ideas that you can do. So like, we've got the normal standard stuff sort of covered. Like we can do content marketing. We can work with influencers. We can market the Radix network, generally. But what is interesting if you've got someone to skydive off the Burj Khalifa with the Radix flag going behind them, or do some skywriting or a drone show over NYC, or drive an army tank down Wall Street, or like, well, what we want you to do something that only you can do, or a contact that you have.
Okay.
Like that's what we're looking for. And
Cool.
I think the bigger part of it, right, is when we talk about RDX Works not being involved in the Radix network, like we want to be able to build a community that thinks about it in the right way. So like, say we weren't here and we had to market the product. So how are we going to do that? We need people like you. We need people you see on Radix Twitter. We need people working together to push this thing forward. Like we need it's the healthiest way possible we can do it. We sort of don't have any particular idea of what we want. We have some very good ideas coming so far, and we're going to be sort of releasing more information on those in the next couple of weeks. We're looking for this to be a long-term program, so it isn't just a thing happening this month. This is this is a multi-year thing. As long as the program works, we will run it for. If you have an idea that will take a year to put together, that is absolutely fine. If you have an idea that's going to cost $500 of XRD, that's great too. We want to hear from you. You know, we the first little trial we won that I think we sponsored a joint rolling competition. Which was
I could probably enter that. I do live in California, you know.
So that was interesting. And like, but it doesn't have to be, I guess, standard marketing ideas. So for instance, we had a few really good submissions from Korea, from Japan, from Eastern Africa. Okay. So those ones, like we did, we have no presence there. We have no infrastructure there. Like it takes a lot to scale a team like RDX Works to be able to cover the globe, right? And it's just not sustainable. It's very, very hard to do. It's very, very expensive. It's very time consuming. You create like a giant bureaucratic organization just to cover this, when we have a community that's full of very motivated, very intelligent, very passionate people who want to help and want to contribute. So like, that is what we want to be able to, fund those initiatives.
Sure.
Basically, take control of that passion.
I love that, and you've got my brain spinning. I might have a couple in the works actually. Infrastructure, you said. So can you elaborate on that a little bit? What do you mean by infrastructure? Like node setup, like just people there, or how's that
potentially node setup? But like, let's say like I wanted to, like, say one big focus we've had in the last 3 months is running events around the world. Okay. So like, let's say hypothetical, I wanted to do an event in Korea. Right? I don't speak Korean.
Okay.
I don't have any Korean money. I don't know the relevant business practices. I don't know how to hire a venue. Yeah. Okay, let's say I could fly there and start to do these things. It's still going to be a struggle for me. I don't know. There's a lot of the local customs, a lot of the idea. Like, how is this going to work? How do I contact developers in Korea? How do I invite people there? What's the meetup.com of Korea? How do I get people coming to this event? I don't have a clue, right? But we have a lot of very passionate people in the Korean community that can do all that stuff in an afternoon. Okay. So let's say hypothetically, like, we're talking about like sort of just infrastructure for things like that. Let's say I have to employ someone or employ people or employ a team that's going to specifically focus on that. It's going to take time to bring them on board, to hire them, to pay them, to bring them up to speed, to get them to the point where they're doing it. And it's going to cost money to do, time to do. Yeah. But then I've got to do that in Japan, in Korea, in Kenya, in all these countries around the world. It's not going to happen. But we're a decentralized network, and guess what? We've got passionate people all around the world who are screaming out to come and help and contribute to this sort of thing. Yes, I completely agree. And that's what we want to use. I agree. I love that. And so I guess it's like you just said. So the reason why I asked that question was because I was trying to think, like, a lot of people talk about infrastructure and they say words. And so like me, like, I'm all in crypto, have been for a very long time, and I get it. And then, so I don't even understand some of these things. And sometimes, and like you said, the barrier of entry to DeFi, it's scary. Like, people don't know, right? And so like, they don't understand exactly what it is. And so that actually helps explain to me the purpose of the Dandelion project a little more, is to be like, hey, someone who can speak English and work with us, hey, we can come up with a really cool idea, and we can give you some funds to make this thing work and kind of make it grow. So that's no, it works. I mean, we could do it, but we'll probably do it poorly. Yes. Like, there's a lot of nuances that go into making these things work. Like, you probably see it before when like a foreign company advertises to a local population, and it often misses the mark. Sure. Or is straight offensive or broken or wrong, and it looks unprofessional. Absolutely. Right. So, it definitely makes sense. Like, we want to be able to empower people in their own countries to build things locally. And we talk about it often as just being like not a flash mob, but like a movement, right? Like we don't want just people, we don't want to throw a bucket of money at this thing, see a huge explosion of activity, but then when the money stops, it goes away. What we want to build is I do think of it as like infrastructure. We want to build this strong core groups in every country in the world that can build this thing over a sustained period of time, because we have to go through multiple bear markets. We have a multi-year roadmap. The things that we want to do are going to take 5-10 years to get to. So we need to build these things in a sustainable way to be able to get there. Absolutely. Like this is a marathon. So we need to be able to do things at scale in a decentralized way that are future-proof, that are efficient, and that actually provide good outcomes for the Radix network. So it's quite cool to see. And this is just the start of it. It's something we've only really been focused on since January. Yeah. So since it's cool to see.
It is cool, and honestly, I mean, I think you have the hardest job out there, right? Like, in terms in terms of the Radix team, that's my opinion.
That is stop.
No, seriously, I mean that.
I'm gonna show that to everybody.
No, I mean that. You know why? I say this all the time, and I see clients, because I work with startups every single day at my job, right? And so a lot of them put the cart before the horse, right? And they make this awesome product, and it's really cool. But they just don't have a community to use it. And then so they make a product, and then they go out and say, oh, hey, come use this awesome product that I made, only to find out that people might not like it that much, or they're not marketing to the correct people. And then eventually they just fade and go away and have to pivot and do something else, right? And so I've always said forever, it's just like, you could have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, or if no one uses it, who cares? No one cares. Right. And so that's why I'm saying you had the hardest job, is because there's talented people all over the world that could just sit in a cave. There could be the best blockchain network that ever exists on paper, or even built on someone's computer, but they don't have the social skills or the know-how or the network to build it out. Right. Like at the end of the day, building a project is about people, right? Operating the world is about people. You're not doing this for a network. You're not doing this for a computer or a cool algorithm to figure out DeFi. You were trying to make DeFi so that you can improve people's lives, right? And so it's a really difficult thing to do, because one, people are afraid. You have to onboard them. You have to go out and build a community. And so I do think that you have the hardest part.
It is, when you say like it is like, it's a big task, but like, I am like a poor craftsman working with some incredible tools and some incredible bits of wood if I'm a carpenter.
Absolutely.
The Radix community that I've inherited, because this has been building for 8 years, 7 years. People have been following this project day in, day out, like putting their blood, sweat, tears into this thing for 8 years. And they've set a foundation, and it's compounded over the years to build this thing where like it is everyone is incredibly engaged, and everyone is very invested in the same philosophical ideas, in the same goals of building this open distributed ledger. And it doesn't operate without that. The guys can come and code it, they can build it, they can deliver it, but the people have to be able to use it, where you have to have a strong community to make a decentralized network actually decentralized. Because guess what, if it's not, they're not there, then it's not decentralized, right? Like if it's getting propped up by the people building it, then it's not decentralized. Like if you need to step in every other day and turn it off and on again, it's not decentralized. Like if you don't have a strong node running community like we do have, then this doesn't work. If you don't have a strong community out there marketing and selling it and building on it every day, then it doesn't work. So it's a huge focus for us. I think it's the community side of it is starting to be appreciated more in the last couple of years. I think it's really cool now to see VCs. They don't just like look at the product. Now they look at the community that comes with it. So like either very initial like pre-seed companies, like, do you have a community that's following this thing? All the way up to like pre-IPO, do you have a community that's following this thing? Like, what does it look like? The product could be poor, but if these people are screaming for it, then there could be something there, so we'll pay more attention to it. Like it is something that is starting to be sort of understood more and more, like the value of a strong community. It really can't be understood. And it's something I've only really started to appreciate myself sort of recently, like I think a lot of people, myself included, can sometimes kind of write it off a little bit, where you look at like, oh, I can't code, I can't build this thing, I can't do this, I'm not as valuable to this project. Like these particular set of skills, this particular thing is not as important as the guy building these distributed networks. But like, and it's something that, you know, I'm now seeing the like value of over the last couple of years. Like this is actually as important as that thing.
Yeah.
And like it's and there's a lot of them in crypto, like Radix obviously particularly being my focus, but you know, even like little sub communities in Radix, right? Like, so we are 6 months or so away. Like smart contracts are a big release in the life cycle of a project. Like at that point, you have a live DeFi ecosystem, and for that is coming for Radix in Q1 of next year. So we're still a good few months away, but we have these beautiful little sub communities forming around projects intending to release at that point. So you've got people being very excited about these NFT projects, about these platforms, about these swaps, about all these things, and we are months away. But they have thriving communities, very excited for it. They are ride or die for these JPEGs. Right. Like that is not to be discounted. Like that is very cool. So what is going to come when we actually have live functioning DeFi here? Like it's a great advertisement for the Radix network.
Yeah, I honest to God, I mean, that you just hit the nail on the head when you said the NFTs. I honestly think that was the biggest explosion. Why NFTs became so popular. And I was at a Bitcoin conference in Miami in January, and this is before I truly dived into the Radix community, because I was sitting and I was listening to a guy, I don't remember his name, but he just says, people who don't get NFTs, here it is. It's about the community. It is about an exclusive entrance into a mastermind group. You have an automatic proof of funds. People are in this thing and you're trying to do this together. It's like joining a team. It's like joining a fraternity. It's joining a club. Like each
it's exactly. It's like I want to describe it like, and I feel really strongly about it as like a tribal thing, right? And people describe these communities as tribes, and it's taken to the extreme in crypto. Like I follow Radix, like people support Tottenham Football Club, Manchester City Football Club, right? But I am a part owner in this thing. I'm physically invested in it. Like when my NFT, when my team does well, I do well. And you see, right, so you're very close to this thing, and you identify perfectly with this. So it goes both ways. When the team does poorly, you do poorly. It physically hurts you. Like when it does well, you feel that euphoria of it doing well. And you know, we're kind of like, as humans, like we are meant to identify with these things and gravitate towards these things. And it's so cool to see people doing that, and it happening on Radix so early. And it's a beautiful thing to see, and it makes my job so easy. Particularly in sort of like a bear market, right? Nothing like in a trough, nothing happening. Radix is just popping projects off absolutely everywhere. People are like absolutely into it. It's very exciting. So I'm very appreciative for all the people in the community building these things, doing these things, taking their time to build these communities. So shout out to you guys, because without you, it would be very boring. Very boring place indeed.
I agree, and honestly, it's cool because like that's what. Like I said, this would drove me, because I made an NFT project and I don't have any coding experience, right? But I just met with some people. One of my best friends, a coder, and just kind of put it together, and then just go out there and try to.
That's it. That's what we want to see. Like they say, that's what, like, we've been running these events around the world for the last 3 months now. We did sort of 30 of them in the last quarter, and what we're like so excited to see how this. I've been to quite a few of them. You go there, and I want to see like a marketer meet a developer, meet a community manager, meet a customer service person, and you see these things start to bounce around and ting together, and suddenly they turn into like a little mini incubation thing. Because you're meeting people that are like, you know, into this as much as you are, and as passionate about this as you are, and have the same ideas as you, and you're like, oh my god, this thing can actually work. And we've started to see this sort of from each of these ones. So it's going to be very cool to see those start to come together. Like similar things like yours, like a few of the ones that we've seen come together in Discord, and people start to build things on them. So it's very exciting to see.
Oh, it's super excited. And and it's funny just being immersed in that community, because like I was always a finance guy all the time. And because that was like my forte, just always stocks. I've been in stocks forever. And then I was like, oh, wow, crypto's way cooler. I'm going to do that now. And that, like I said, that completely changed my life, and it changed my perspective, because I realized, I was like, man, just, you're not doing anything just by sitting and looking at charts all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like, and like the projects that you like, they're not going to grow just by looking at their charts and trying to scale out and be like, oh, this is going to start going like this, and based on these charts back here, it's going to do this. So
just ignore the double lopsided Fibonacci patterns. Just close the charts.
Yeah,
it's a scam. It doesn't work. Like, pick something you are fundamentally excited by, follow that, and enjoy that. You'll have a much better time. I have really enjoyed crypto since I closed the charts.
Oh,
like,
man.
I think everyone goes that phase, right? You want to be like that. That you want to be that like degenerate chart trader who's posting massive P&L, and like, you know, I bought the courses, I've done the things, I've tried the indicators, it's not me, didn't enjoy it. You know, the exchanges took my money, started again from zero, and since I just closed that, done, crypto is much more fun now. So
I agree, and I think we need to have more people like that, because adoption at this point, adoption is everything, in my opinion, right? Because there's a big one thing is, I feel like we need to reduce the barrier of entry about how to get into this game, right? And kind of unveil the fear about it, right? And so a lot of those charts and a lot of the pump and dump schemes, that's what scares people away, in my opinion. And because people are losing their money, you know?
Of course. It's rough. I mean, and that's all kind of part of it. Like, the industry will mature. You know, there will be things to stop this, but you're right. Like, it's a bad look. Like, hacks and scams in DeFi, people will never come back again.
No.
Like, people getting rugged by these projects, you will never come back again.
Nope.
Like, and it is a kind of like we see it over and over and over again, and it is unfortunate. It is also one of the things that is incredibly hard to stop, and will likely always be there.
Yeah.
But, you know, if anyone is sort of affected by that, like, stick with it, persevere it, take it easy, come back, and it will, you know, you just got to stay in the game with a lot of this stuff, and you will make it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And so just speaking a little bit more just on community, August 4th, right? Radix Day, right?
Yes.
So,
it's only been 1 year, 1 year since the Radix publication went live. Like, it is absolutely mental thinking back. It's only been 1 year. You know, like, it is very, very exciting. So we're looking to do worldwide meetups all around the world on the same day at the same time. Want to make the thing going forward. Want to get 20 plus countries in on it. We're really looking forward to see all the photos come through. There's a recent post on the at Radix DLT Twitter. If you scroll down a bit, you will see it there. We are asking for submissions. So if you're in any country and you want to do this thing, let us know. So it doesn't have to be big. Get together with friends. We will buy you beer. We'll buy you pizza. Go and have a drink on us. Celebrate. Send us a photo. That's all you got to do. You don't have to overthink it. This isn't a giant thing. Pick a time, pick a date, pick a location. Tell us when it is. People come and meet you. Have a few drinks. Cheers. Done. Go home. Have a good time. Like, it's very, very cool. And those things are really, really important. Like, just getting something started. I guarantee you, if you start one thing and do it once in your local area, other people will want to come. Like, everyone sometimes thinks there's no one that knows Radix in my local area, but it's absolutely insane, the spread we have around the world. So yeah, and I can't believe it's only been a year.
I know.
So much has happened in a year. It's crazy.
Oh my God, a lot has happened. I would say the last 2 years. I mean, you entered Radix at probably like the craziest time ever. One of the best, and also worst, and also most amazing. It's been an absolute roller coaster, and it's just kind of it's going to keep being a roller coaster for a little bit.
It will. No, I think that's what I've gotten used to. It's always going to be something, right? It doesn't matter if something good, doesn't matter if it's something bad. Like, just got to continue, because like in this game, you get some extreme euphoric highs, but you get some lows as well.
Absolutely.
Like, and you know, you just like and sort of take it all in and enjoy it, and don't get too into it as well. Like, I was one of the people. There are stuff outside of crypto. I'm probably the worst for it, because I'm somewhat obsessed by this. And do it way too much, and do it in my free time, and do it in my work time, and my work life, my crypto life, my Radix life is melded together now. So I got to work on that better than anybody. So don't be like me. Take some time out, but it's very, very it's cool to see where it's going.
Oh man, I couldn't agree more. And so, but other than that, I think that's about a wrap. Jacob, one thing I like to do with guests is like, you have anything that you want, a message that you want people to take away from this little chat, anything that just whatever like strikes your fancy. It doesn't even have to be crypto related. It could just be
like I'd start off by saying like, hello mom, I know you're watching this, thank you for tuning in. Just get involved. Like I want to stress this, you don't need to be a coder to be involved with crypto, be involved with Radix or whatever the project is. You have huge contributions. So we've started an ambassador program recently. It's like our volunteer program at Radix for people that are interested in the network, want to be involved, want to do some things. We had a huge amount of applicants. We've onboarded, in the process of onboarding, about 50 new ones. We'll be opening up applications again in a couple of months for the next batch. So keep an eye out for that if you want to get involved. But one of the things I've had with the interviews we've been doing for these people, it is incredible how many people always ask the question, right? How did you find out about Radix? How did you go down this Radix hole? What was this revelation you've had? How did it happen?
Exactly.
Constantly, it's I saw a comment on Reddit. I saw a comment on Twitter. This person mentioned this to me in passing. That is it, right? So a lot of the times you can think, oh, listen, it's not going to have any effect. One person doing one thing is not going to have any effect, right? It's easy to think, I'm tired, whatever, it's not going to help. Guarantee you it helps.
Yeah.
Right? Guarantee you it helps. Like we have 20,000 people in this Telegram channel. One comment a day and everyone in the world is going to know about it. Like it is little small contributions from many individuals is extremely strong, extremely worthy. And that's how you build a centralized network. That is the core of what it is. So you don't need to be this giant influencer doing all this stuff. You just need to start something. You just need to do one thing and other people will come along with you. So that is it. If you want to get involved, that's all you've got to do. And it is a huge help. If you want more details, come in and see us in the Radix Telegram, drop a message. There's plenty of people that will help you there. Come and chat to us in Discord, have a chat to us on Twitter, leave a comment, hit me up, Jacob at Jacob_XRD on Twitter. Give me a follow, got a plug in there. And we'd love to have you here.
Jacket.
yeah, got my Olympia jacket there. So yeah, come and say hello. That's it. We'd love to have you. Everyone's welcome.
That's awesome. Jacob, this was amazing. Such a blessing. Always keep up the good work and keep pushing forward. Thanks everyone, and catch us next time.